So today's practice, we're going to begin on the floor. We're going to go to standing, and then we're going to end up back on the floor for our Shavasana. So we're beginning our practice with either a rolled up mat, a blanket, or a towel. This is going to go behind the neck. So play with the roll a little bit and make sure that it is comfortable for you, that the head can rest on the floor. And so it's going to be over the top of the shoulders so the arms can float out to T. So we're looking for a way for the neck to feel supported and stabilized. So we want it to be just right. So play with it a little bit to discover how big a roll or how small a roll really serves your neck. Then we're going to keep our feet standing on the mat. The knees are bent. Let's walk our feet to the edges of the mat. And then we're going to let the knees fall together. So we're TPing the knees. And we're going to pause here to find our breath. And as we breathe, we can let go of our to-do list for today and continue to bring our attention back to our breath. Now let's prepare to move. We're going to float those arms up, fingertips point to the sky. And then we're going to hold opposite elbows. We're going to take the arms to the right and center into the left. We're just going to go back and forth. We're looking for ease here. We're inviting our body to just travel to the point that feels okay. And as we're doing this, maybe tuning in to the space between the shoulder blades. Let the jaw fall open. Just a few more of these, just saying hello and good morning. We're going to be doing some exploration with our shoulders today. And the next time we're back at center, we're going to change this action and turn it into a circle. So we're bringing the arms down toward the belly, to the right, up toward the forehead, to the left, and down toward the belly. So we're noticing, maybe starting with smaller circles. It might feel good to make bigger circles at any point if the body says, stop and go back to smaller circles. Hello to the shoulders. So we're getting the opportunity to work the shoulders without the neck having to be involved in it. The neck gets to take a little break. We're going to switch the circle. Take it in opposite direction. Maybe noticing, hey, is this circle as full as the last one? Or does it feel better to make it a smaller circle? Maybe the fullness is a little smaller. Now we're going to bring this to a pause. We're going to take those arms to the sky again, and then we're going to gently open them back to T. And simply notice how the body feels, how the jaw is resting, and what's happening in the neck. We're going to come out of this by rolling to one side. You decide which side feels best. And then we're going to use the support under our head so that we can rest our head on the floor. We're going to bring our knees up, maybe to a 90-degree angle, maybe more or less. The feet are going to be stacked. We're going to take that top arm, whichever one it is, and slowly begin to circle it. Keep the arm long and bend it as needed to continue the circle. So we have our head supported on a blanket, and we're just circling the arm. And maybe the elbow's bent, maybe the arm is long. Switch directions. Hello to the shoulders. So as we're doing this, the head is relaxed down, and we're just focusing on the shoulder. Now we're going to pause, rest our hand gently on the side of our body, and we're going to take the shoulder head, the top of the shoulder up toward the ear. Then we're going to slide it down toward the waist. Let it come forward a little bit, and then take it back. You might notice there's a little pull in the neck, perhaps. So we're going to do that again. Shoulder slides up, shoulder slides down, shoulder comes forward, shoulder comes back. And now we're going to do a couple of circles in one direction with the shoulder head, and then the opposite direction. Pausing, bringing that top hand to the floor. We're going to press ourselves up to seated, and we're going to let the head be heavy. We're not leading with the head. We're going to press into the hand. Take that top leg, kick it back, press up, come to seated, and then swing around, and we'll check out the other side. So we have our knees and feet stacked here, our heads resting on the floor. We're going to bring our arm, and we're going to just do circles with our arm. You decide which direction you start with. Maybe noticing, is this similar to the other side? Are there differences? Maybe the jaw is going to be soft here. To soften the jaw even more, let it fall open, and maybe the tongue rests on the soft palate. Now let's switch directions. And again, bend that elbow as needed to make this a comfortable circle. And the next time we come back around, we're going to rest that hand on the side body. The fingertips are dangling off the back side. We're going to draw the shoulder up, slide it down, bring it forward, bring it back, backward. So these are not big motions. Sliding up, we're sliding down, forward and back. And now we're going to do small circles with this shoulder cap. And then switch directions, small circles. And then we pause. The hand's going to come forward in front of the chest. We're going to activate our lift by kicking that back leg, pressing into the hand. Head comes up last. We're going to pause here and we're going to come to seated. So it may be helpful to take the mat or the blanket and sit upon it to elevate the pelvis. We can bring our feet together in Baddha Konasana or cross-legged into Sukhasana. I'm going to float those arms up. And let's take a hand to the right side. We're going to lean to the right side and we're going to take that left hand and hold the side of the head. And then we're going to move the head up and down, looking for the point at which our neck really relaxes here. And then just let the head rest in the hand. We're doing a nice stretch in the side body. Maybe the elbow comes a little bit toward the floor. Let the jaw be soft here. And then keeping the head where it is, we're going to release that left hand toward the left side. And we're going to stretch through the fingers. We're going to take the chin, scoot it down toward the notch in the collarbones. And we're going to slide the chin across the collarbones. And we're looking for any place where our neck gets tight. So this is a slow movement. And when we find a tight bit, we're going to pause and just let the weight of the head fall a little bit. So to come back to center, we're going to take that left hand again to the side of the head. We're going to press into the right hand while we lift the head back up. Let's travel to the other side now. So now we have the left hand on the mat. We're going to take the right hand over the head and we're going to tip the head to tip the head to the left side. We're going to move the head up and down just a little bit. We're looking for the point at which we can really let go of the neck and let the head rest in the hand. If you'd like to deepen this, the elbow can come toward the mat any amount. That's going to take us into the side body. Continue to soften in the jaw. Keep that jaw open and relaxed. And now we're going to release the right hand, point it toward the floor, find that nice stretch in the neck, and then slowly begin to rotate the chin toward that notch in the collarbone, and then sliding it to the left along the line of the collarbone. Pausing when there is any tightness in the shoulder or in the neck. And then when that tightness resolves, maybe continue the exploration toward the left. To come out of this, we're going to take that right hand to the side of the head, press into the left hand, lift the head using the right. We're going to extend our legs in front of us, bounce them out a little bit. Then we're going to come onto hands and knees. You can set the props aside for now. We're done with those. We're going to come onto hands and knees. We're going to turn our toes under. We have our fingers wide. We have our head in alignment with the spine. And we're slowly going to lower our head toward the floor. Press into the arms to lift. So we're bending the elbows, head coming toward the floor, come back up. So we're doing a little arm work here. And now with the toes turned under, we're going to lift one knee, lift the other knee, then slowly scoot our hips back, bringing ourselves into a down dog. And then we're going to walk our hands and feet together. And we're going to sweep up to standing. And we're going to find our mountain pose here. Lifting the toes up, we come into Pada Bandha. So the toes are lifted. Connect with the ball mound of the big toe. Press there, and then see if we can find all of the joints where the toes meet the foot by spreading across to the pinky toe. Rolling back toward the big toe. It's a subtle motion, but we're looking to see if we can feel into our feet. And then we release that standing posture so the toes relax down. We're going to work our scapula now. So those are the wings in the back of the body. We're going to work these simultaneously. So we spread the shoulder blades apart and the shoulders come forward. Then when we go back, the shoulder blades come toward each other. So we're really seeing if we can soften those shoulder blades, that they can have a little bit of movement here. So for a lot of people, the shoulder blades feel like they're glued to the back, not necessarily in our best interest for that to be so. Let's rotate backwards. And take it slow. I have a symphony of cracking bones as I'm doing this. We lift our heart as we roll back. The shoulder blades come together in the back. And then we pause. Lift the toes. Notice whether or not we have more awareness across the ball mound of the foot. And then release the toes. We're going to come to the shoulder heads now. So we did a little rotation up, down, forward, and back when we were on the floor. We're going to move those forward now. So we're just rolling the shoulder heads forward and in, forward and in. So this is an inward rotation. Internal rotation of the shoulders. So we're seeing if we can just feel the shoulder heads. Now we're going to do external rotation by shoulder caps rolling back, the shoulder heads rolling back, back and down. Come to center in mountain. Lift the toes again, seeing if we can feel the outer edges of the feet in contact with the floor as we lift our toes. You might also notice that the quadricep muscles in the front, the thigh muscles really engage here. And then we relax. And now we're going to do a little side bending. So we're going to just float to one side, come back up. Don't go too far. Just explore each side as if it was unique. And especially if there's low back, like sacrum issues, we don't want to side bend too far. So really parse this out, titrate it, see how far the body really wants to bend. And then we're going to pause. And we're going to bring our attention to our rib cage, and we're going to see if we can mobilize the rib cage without activating the hips. See if the rib cage can go right and left. And it may or may not, but just the idea of it prepares us for what's coming. And maybe forward and back with the rib cage. And then little circles with the rib cage, one direction and then the other. Then we're going to pause. And now we're going to do some rotations that lead with the elbow. To do this, we want to keep the hips facing forward and the head facing forward. We're just going to be isolating the body, and we bring the arm across and then we come back. So we notice, so when we're coming across, we don't want to move the hips out. We want to feel our way into this shoulder. And if we keep the head forward, then the neck is not going to be activated here. Just going to go back and forth a couple of times. So we're leading with the elbow, but that's going to take the whole arm and hand, isn't it? Switching sides, we're bringing this forward and back, keeping that pelvis stable, keep the head forward. And maybe it comes up a little higher. Breathe here. And then we come back to mountain. We're going to lift our toes. And this time we're going to notice what's happening in the arches of the feet. And then we relax and come back to mountain. We're going to do single arm scapula rotations now. So we're going to roll this forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Whew. And pause, switching sides. Forward and back. Forward and back. So now we're seeing how the elbow can lead, right? So we're working the shoulder, but that elbow's getting busy too. Then we're going to pause, and we're back in mountain. Lifting the toes. Just notice the feet here. What's happening in your jaw? Can the jaw be a little softer? As we lift our toes, scoot the attention back toward the heels. Lift the heart just a wee bit more. And then we come to neutral. We're going to be doing a wrist lift. So we got a wide stance here. So take your feet maybe as wide as the mat. We're going to float the wrist up, and we're going to follow just to the point where we feel a little bit of tightening in the shoulder. So for most of us, it's going to be somewhere between here and here. Then we're going to be lifting the arm the rest of the way, unless you have a shoulder injury. To do that, we're going to press into those beautiful active feet, extend with the breath to lift the hand. And then we float down. So we float the arm up, pausing. Then we expand to extend. So we're using the whole body to lift the arm, not just the shoulder joint. So here we go one more time. And release. We're going to take it to the other arm. We're going to lead with the wrist. This is a floating up, pausing when it tightens, and then expand the whole body to lift the arm and release. So we press into the feet, we breathe deeply, we lift through the belly, and that helps us lift the arm. Let's do that again. And another inhale to lift. Oh. And release. One more time. Inhale to expand, and then release. Let's shake our legs out a little bit. Let's shake our arms out a little bit. Now we're going to take that into a lift, and then we're going to take it back. And we're only going to take it back as far as our body says that's enough. So won't you join me? We begin with our wrist lift, expand to extend, and then release behind. Look at the hand. Come back forward, wrist lifts, expand to extend, and float back. Follow the hand with the eyes. And one more time, extend, expand to extend, and float back. Follow the hand with the eyes, and then come to neutral. So when we're following the hands with the eyes, we're working the rib cage. We're softening in the rib cage, right? Our feet are about as wide as a mat. We're going to lift the wrist, and we expand to extend. And then we follow the hand as it comes behind. And then we come back to center, breathe in, drawing that wrist up on the next in-breath. We expand to extend. And again, one more time, lifting the wrist, expand to extend, and release. Following the hand. Shake it out. Maybe the feet shake out just a little bit. So now we're going to keep our feet wide, When we're taking our legs wide, make sure there's a little bit of softness in the knees. So the knees aren't locked out. They're a little bit soft. So we have some cushioning there. We're going to float the arms up and we're going to have our palms up here. Release the right hand. We're going to start with the left arm. We're going to rotate that shoulder cap in. So the shoulder cap comes in. And then we notice that that takes the elbow and turns the crease down. Then we come to the wrist. The wrist continues to turn and then the palm is up. We're going to do 8 repetitions here of lifting. So we got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now to come out of this, we start with the shoulder cap, the shoulder head, rotate that back. That brings the elbow crease forward and up. The wrist turns up, the palm turns up, and we release down. Let's travel to the right side. Palm up, shoulder cap, shoulder head first, rotates forward, which rotates the elbow. So the elbow crease is aiming down, the wrist aims down, and then all of a sudden, the palms turned up. We're going to do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to return the favor, shoulder cap first. That rotates back, the elbow crease comes forward, the palm turns up, the hand turns up, and we're back to neutral. Let's do both arms. So we take the shoulder heads forward. The elbows begin to turn down, the elbow creases, the wrist turns down, and then the palm turns up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shoulder heads turn back, elbow crease comes forward, wrist is up, palms are up. We're going to extend above the head if your shoulders allow. Bring the hands together, perhaps look up, and then come to neutral with the head as we float the arms down. So now we're going to put together the last 2 activations that we did, where we lift the wrist, go behind, and now we're going to learn how to swim the shoulder. So the feet are as wide as the mat. There's softness in the knees. Whew. Feels so good to just stand here. Maybe play a little bit with lifting the toes and releasing them, lifting the toes and releasing them. One more time. And now we're going to take the wrist to lead. We're coming up. We find the point where we expand to extend. And then we release back behind us, following the hand. And now to come out of this, we're going to rotate the shoulder back. The elbow joint comes forward. The wrist lifts toward the ceiling. The palm is up. We swim forward. Let's do that again. Leading with the wrist, we breathe and expand to extend, and then float that arm back. We have an internal rotation. We're going to externally rotate by taking that shoulder head backward. That's going to bring the elbow joint forward, going to bring the wrist toward the ceiling and the palm up. That allows us to swim forward without the shoulder going, "What are you doing?" One more time. We float the wrist up, expand to extend, and we release backward. We're looking at it. There's a little twist in our rib cage as we rotate the shoulder head toward back behind us. Elbow comes to the ceiling, wrist and hand toward the ceiling, swim forward. Pause in mountain. Notice the right and the left side of the body. And we'll take it to the other side. We lead with the wrist. Breathe in to expand and extend. Then float the arm down and back. Shoulder cap rotates back. The elbow crease comes forward. The wrist turns up, the hand turns up, and we swim forward. Elbow, we're leading with the wrist again. We breathe in to expand and extend the reach. Float the arm down, follow the hand. Here we go. We're going to rotate that shoulder head back. Elbow crease forward. Wrist forward, palm up, swim forward. And one more time, leading with the wrist. Soft wrist. Breathe, expand to extend. Float down. Come back and watch that hand. The magic of rotating the shoulder back. The elbow crease comes forward, the wrist turns up, the palm turns up, and we swim forward. Shake it all out. Little seaweed here. And now we're going to come back onto our mats and we're going to do the cervical roll underneath our neck again. So we're going to either take our mat or our blanket and we're going to rest our head, our neck on. So we're going back to where we started. Using either the blanket, the mat, or a towel. I've switched to the towel. So we're creating this in such a way that the back of the head can touch the floor or the mat or the ground. We have our feet as wide as the mat and the knees are touching. We have palms up as we rest here. And we're simply allowing ourselves to settle in and perhaps notice how this posture feels now. As compared to when we first did it. Notice the neck, the jaw, the shoulders, the shoulder blades, the space between the shoulder blades. Perhaps noticing the waist and the pelvis. And then gently slide whatever is under the neck out. And bring the head to rest on the floor, on the mat, on the ground. Walk the feet in till they're about hip width apart. Knees pointed at the ceiling. Hands float down next to the pelvis. And we find our constructive rest posture. And when you're ready, you can enter Shavasana. So take your time finding your favorite resting posture. Maybe the legs slide long and the feet fall open. Maybe constructive rest feels good. Maybe the feet standing on the edge of the mat with the knees touching. You decide what's going to feel best for your body to allow you to incorporate the practice. Today's thought is from Thich Nhat Hanh. If in our daily life we can smile, if we can be peaceful and happy, not only we, but everyone will profit from it. This is the most basic kind of peace work. Gently begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, drawing breath all the way through the body, into the extremities, into the periphery of the body. And then imagine the breath expanding with the energy of peace and happiness and joy out past the edges of the body. And when you're ready, gently roll to one side, find breath here. And then press yourself up to seated. And we close by opening our arms wide. We gather all the blessings that already exist and draw them into our hearts in appreciation and gratitude. And together we all say, Namaste.